What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Doomer Friday. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys enjoyed the Doomer Friday. We had Mr. Rob Jones as a guest from News Nation now, because Rob is now a paid ufologist with a salary and a pension and everything. So kudos to Rob for that. But while we were just hanging out there were a bunch of things that happened that I want to show you guys. The first one is a little hint that snowballed eventually into what just happened just now. It's 4:09 p.m. Pacific, and I saw this from Skywatch Signal. Initially, it looks like nothing, right? But let me read it to you. It says, Aliens.gov just moved out of park status. A few days ago, the domain was effectively dead. No response, no server, nothing behind it at all. But today it's throwing an SSL error. An SSL error means your browser is trying to establish a secure connection and can't complete it because the certificate isn't fully configured. That only happens when the domain is actually pointed to a live server but not finished. So something is now sitting behind Aliens.gov. It's not public yet, probably because it's not ready, but it's no longer just a registered domain name. That lines up with everything else happening right now. The push for UAP file releases, missed deadlines at the Pentagon, and increasing pressure from inside the government to surface material that has been sitting behind classified walls. So after that, and are you guys ready? Because this is pretty huge. This just happened with President Donald Trump. Here it is.
Remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today. I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, a little bit, that this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say, and the first releases will begin very, very soon. As you remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today. I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, a little bit, that this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say, and the first releases will begin very, very soon.
So there you have it. And with that, from Skywatch Signal, I would guess that that's why the aliens.gov domain is now no longer just a dead domain. That's where people are going to drop the whatever they drop, documents, videos, whatever. This is a huge, huge development, I think. But to continue this, because this is the news of the day, I also have something that I got to talk to you guys about, because there was one time when Jake Barber was on American Alchemy answering the following question right here.
Are you one of David Grush's 40 firsthand witnesses that he says he presented to the Intelligence Community Inspector General Thomas Monheim?
No, Dave and I met after his initial complaint was filed with the ICIG, and those guys represented a set. I don't know the 40. I know of some of them. One of them is the guy who's no longer with us, whose demise was quite conveniently timed for those who might have something to do with it. But sorry, I didn't mean to go there with it. But no, that was a different group. I'm part of a new group that met Dave in this process. I didn't know what Dave was doing at the same time we were doing it. Like, we were going through the DOPSR process at about the same time. and we were experiencing our whistleblower transition at the same time Dave was. Like, it was weird. Like, we were both, it was both happening at the same time, but completely different. You gotta remember, like, Dave is way up here at the shoulder, like the high-end administrative end of the intel and the government's program. I'm down here on the fingertips trying to figure out what's going on, and we ended up meeting in the middle, you know, in this effort.
So based on that, that was the very first time that I heard about this other person who is a whistleblower who passed away. And then Burleson appeared on a show talking about it. And what he said was pretty shocking as well, because he appeared initially on Fox News. And shout out to UAP James, because he's the first one who dropped this. This is very significant too. And I think it has to also do with everything that's going on right now with President Trump's announcement and all of it, because things are picking up, in case you guys hadn't noticed. But weeks ago, Burleson said the following.
When I first came in, I heard of another gentleman, and I'll keep that name to
Sure.
you know, out of respect. I sent a letter to the FBI investigating the suspicious suicide of another individual who had worked alongside, you know, other whistleblowers like David Grush and Jake Barber, who had come forward. So their colleague is mysteriously committed suicide. We've already sent the letter to the FBI to investigate that, and that is an ongoing investigation.
And then today, Representative Burleson revealed the individual's name. And I will tell you a little bit more about him after we listen to Burleson right here.
Eric Burleson, who is calling for the FBI to get involved. Congressman, when did you first find out about this?
My office found out about it last year. We sent a letter to the FBI about a gentleman named Matthew Sullivan, who actually we had reached out to. He was scheduled to come in for an interview. Within 2 weeks, he had suspiciously committed suicide. That report was referred to the Office of Inspector General. They deemed it credible and urgent. They then referred it to the FBI. So this is not the first that we've heard of this. That was the first that we became aware of.
So based on that, and thank you to UAP James for this one, I want to show you who Matthew Sullivan is, because the reason why President Donald Trump's announcement here is so important is to get justice for people like Matthew Sullivan right here. U.S. Air Force intelligence officer Matthew Sullivan served at the NSA and National Air and Space Intelligence Center. Sullivan deployed to CENTCOM U.S. Indo-Pacific Command and earned a Bronze Star in Operation Enduring Freedom. He died in May 2024. The FBI investigation into his death is still active, per Congressman Eric Burleson. This is picture right here. There is an obituary where they talk about him. He seemed like a really fun person. Like, he had a wonderful life. It's kind of difficult to believe that somebody with who seemed to have such a really great life. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the obituary where you can see all the pictures that people shared of him. Hard to think that somebody like that would take their own life. And from the people that I've spoken to people who were friends of him. They're like really pissed off of what happened. And they also want justice. They also do. And let me show you some images of him with a uniform, because this is him right here. Here's another one. He had a call sign when he was flying named Quake. That was his call sign, Quake. This is Matthew. This is him again. And this is on his plane. And yeah, really unfortunate and horrible situation that hopefully we can get more eyes on. It's really concerning, you know, and I hope that this new announcement from President Trump and whatever is dropped there can bring some clarity to any person who was hurt or killed trying to put this forward. And from what I know, Matthew Sullivan was about to come forward as a whistleblower, and then he seemingly took his own life. There's currently an investigation ran by the FBI. Eric Burleson reported. I don't know if he was a first-hand person. What I do know, and confirmed by Jake Barber here, is that he was one of the 40 people that have been talked about so much. So that makes me think, because I've always heard that many of these 40 individuals have always been afraid of coming forward. Now we know the potential reason why they're not coming forward, because of a situation like Matthews here. So I really find it distasteful and pretty awful to gaslight people by trying to say that this isn't something worthy of looking at, that there was no nefarious intent in everything that's happening. I'm not just talking about Matthew, I'm talking about people who broke into Matthew Brown's house, the harassment that Dylan Borland has endured, threats that people like Jake Barber have endured as well. All of that stuff that people are reporting, and that they are being brave enough to come forward and talk about it. All of those who are gaslighting these people, fucking shame on you. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because, man, it's really sad, I think. But this is also really sad, the whole situation with Matthew Sullivan as well. Hopefully, we can find answers with this latest announcement from President Trump for not just him, but everybody who has been affected by this now for decades, I would say. So, yeah, it's a roller coaster of a video. I know it's an exciting announcement from President Trump. What do you expect from this announcement from him? Do you think that whatever is released on that website is going to be of substance, or do you think they're going to use it to politicize it? What did you think, by the way, about President Trump alluding to people who are into UFOs being crazy or something like that? I don't know if you caught that. I played it twice so you could catch it. What do you think about that? And what do you think about this entire situation with Matthew Sullivan, who seemingly took his own life, but there's currently an investigation because they have many doubts that it wasn't like somebody else who did it and made it look like that. As soon as we got more information on him and on the entire case, we'll give it to you guys. I'll keep digging. But for now, that's all I got to say. And thank you for joining me today. Before I leave, I'm going to present to you with Psicoactivo's first ever sponsor, one of you, a small business by the name of Anomalous Cards. Here it is. Matt is coming forward with the 2026 pack of all the events that happened throughout 2026. That is still in development, but he came out with a really cool idea that he calls the Heroes of Truth. And it's he also came up with a really cool idea to sell just little packs of cards, not the entire deck. And that's where you're going to get these Heroes of Truth cards. So there are special Heroes of Truth insert cards, which are only available in the packs. These document 30 key UAP truth tellers, both past and present. The Heroes of Truth cards are serial numbered to different amounts, from 250 to as low as 10. So let me show you the packs. These are the packs, which are really cool. And these are the packs right here. And then the Hero of Truth that I'm going to show you here is a former astronaut, Gordon Cooper. And this is the Gordon Cooper Heroes of Truth Anomalous card. And this is the reverse. Let me read it to you. Gordon Cooper was an aerospace engineer, test pilot, and astronaut. He was the first American to spend more than 24 hours in orbit. Following his retirement, Cooper spoke publicly about multiple UAP he witnessed over Europe while flying for the Air Force in 1951. He described the objects as saucer-shaped with maneuvering capability beyond state-of-the-art. Quote, "We couldn't get anywhere near their altitude," end quote, Cooper said. Asked in 1999 what he believed he and his fellow airmen had seen that day, Cooper stated bluntly, extraterrestrial vehicles. Cooper also revealed a 1957 incident at Edwards Air Force Base where he was supervising flight testing. His crew witnessed and filmed a saucer land in a dry lake bed before it zipped away at a great rate of speed, he said. We wound up having to send the film forward to Washington in the base jet airplane, and I don't know whether anyone ever seen it since. So this is from the Heroes of Truth, Anomalous Cards. And I want to thank again Matt for the support here. So I wanted to show you this. It was really cool that I got this, and it's really cool that it's moving forward, that it's doing well. Thank you for the support. If you want to go to the site, it is called letsgetanomalous.com. Let me repeat, letsgetanomalous.com. We're supposedly going to have a 15% discount for Psicoactivo. As soon as I get it, because they haven't generated it yet, I will give it to you guys so you can take a look. But let me show you. This is a good example. This is Dylan Borland's description of the black triangle that he saw, that he described at the September hearings. So that's one. And in the reverse, in the back of the card, you get a description. One with the picture on one side and the other one with a description. This is the video that Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp showed on June 16, 2025. And this is the description right here. As I'm told by the Anomalous Cards team, 2 of my reportings are in these cards. If you can spot them, if you buy these cards and you can spot the reporting, I'll be glad to highlight it if you guys let me know. But yeah, remember, go to www.letsgetanomalous.com for a 15% discount for Psicoactivo. I'll leave the discount in the description down below. But thank you to the Anomalous Cards team for giving me this opportunity to be my sponsor, my very first official sponsor for Psicoactivo podcast. Thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Jay Barber. Always. Bye.